Hey, welcome to the AskTimChin show, episode uno. Hey, the purpose of this is I travel over the country. I get asked questions everywhere I go. Last week in Phoenix, I was given 100 questions. I had time to answer 2. So what we're going to do here, along with Micah, our host engineer, is we're going to do how many of these episodes a week?
2. We'll try for 2.
2.
We'll try for 2. Yeah.
So
we may do 1, but we'll try for 2.
We've already had issues. We had to go out and buy a brand new camcorder. $1,200 later, don't tell my wife. Then we got back, no SD card. Then our super duper hoopty microphone. Show me how nice that is, Mike.
It's okay.
It's nice, Mike. Doesn't work. So we're recording through the camcorder. So anyway, we hope you'll. What do you call it when they subscribe? That's how that's called.
Yeah, subscribe to the YouTube channel. That would be great. Then you get all the updates on new episodes.
And you can send us questions at www.asktimchin.com. You can ask any question you want, and we will mention your name on air, good, bad, or indifferent. If you don't want us to, just put that in the comment. Don't mention my name. So we have a whole stack of questions for episode 1, and I start off with a tough one.
All right. The question is, keeping a team motivated or providing any motivation to keep moving forward. How do you suggest to do that?
Start with the right team. I mean, there's a lot of hiring philosophies and suggestions out there. I hire people based on what I call results in advance. So depending on what the job is, and let's say I had 3 people, they were all equal to Micah, 140 IQ. No? Okay. Beautiful wives, same age. If everything was the same, they all have a college degree, they all have whatever. Depending on what the job is, I'm going to have them do certain tasks prior to hiring to winnow the field. First of all, I'm wanting to see how they react to pressure. I'm wanting to see what the results are, what their transfer of influence is to other people, whether they'll buy from them. So that's for another day where I'll maybe another question, or walk you through the hiring. But there again, the right people, based on their disc profile, may or may not need motivation. Motivation usually only lasts about 48 hours. I'm motivated to lose weight, like on January 1st, or like for Lent. You probably had to give up cigars for Lent.
Nah, not a chance.
not a chance. Okay. Mike is a cigar expert. So motivation. So the question is, how do you motivate? What I'd rather do, Micah, is I'd rather look for passion. I look for passion quotient. Now you and I work well together because even though you're 30 plus years younger than me, you're old school in your work habits.
Try to be.
Yeah. You're also a man of your word.
Absolutely.
So we work well together because we're passionate about the same thing. The goals of our partnerships and things were clearly defined. And so we're working toward it. Now, what I like to do during the hiring process, Micah, if I'm hiring someone, I've got a blank whiteboard behind me. And usually at some point in the interview, I'll say, hey, can I get you something to drink? They'll say, hey, I'd like a glass of water. And I say, while I'm out of the room, I'd like you to walk up to the whiteboard. And with the sky is the limit, there's no rules. I would love for you to write on the whiteboard what you would love to have as part of your work benefits. Fridays off, we're shorts on Thursdays. You mean you could write anything. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to give you anything. But what it means is I'd love to know what's important to you. So Micah, for instance, if you were ever going back to corporate world, God forbid, but if you had to, and someone said, what would you like to see as workplace benefits or whatever, what are some things you'd put on your whiteboard?
Number one thing I would ask for is at least one day of the week let me work from home. At least one day.
Okay, so one day.
I think that you can, with all the tools available now, you can let most people work from home more than just one day.
Okay.
But I know a lot of corporate guys are concerned about that. I think that if you hire the right people and you trust them, they should be able to work from home and get their job done without you breathing down their neck.
What would be number 2?
Number 2, ideally, I would like, a good healthcare package.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That would traditional.
That would be ideal.
Okay. So I walk back in the room and Micah has on the board 1 day a week at home and healthcare. or health insurance. If I'm a small businessman and I know I can't provide health insurance, I might be able to do number one. Maybe I'll give them $100 toward health insurance, but not the full
Right.
$400 or $500. So, first of all, find out what's important. You don't have to motivate people if you're giving them what they've described as hot buttons for them. So I said, Micah, I think you're very capable. You've passed all of our hiring criteria. And by the way, we have no trouble with you working 2 days a week at home. We're an organization that trusts our people. We believe if we can't trust you, we shouldn't hire you.
Right.
And we believe that if you get the job done, we don't care where you get it done at. We would like you to be here Friday. And if you can do 4 or 5, or maybe the second day is optional, we're okay. So I have found over 30-some odd years of hiring people that if I can find out what they're passionate about, if I can find out what's important to them, and if I can give that to them, sometimes I can't. It's 3 weeks in Hawaii, every January. Well, that ain't happening. I don't even need to go for 3 weeks. So if you find the passion, then what I like to do is I like to have something that we're playing for every month or at least quarterly.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things in my insurance business that I wanted to do was I wanted to have $2,000 fun nights. So we would do a period of time, 3 months, whatever, and then I'd say, okay, if we hit this goal, and this goal, I'll take $2,000 in cash. I'll get a limo. You and your spouse or significant other, we're going to start off at the office. We're going to pile in the limo, and we will stay gone until we spend $2,000. So normally we would, you start out somewhere nice for dinner down on the plaza, maybe cigars and some brandy. Maybe we give the women $50 each to go from the restaurant and shop on the plaza and come back when the $50 gone. And then you end up the night going to the casino. You got like a couple $100 back. You divide it up and come back when the money's gone.
Very neat.
That's about 5. But those kind of fun, out-of-the-box ideas will keep your team motivated. But then again, I want people, Micah, that don't need motivation.
Right.
I want people that are passionate, that believe in the cause, and we're driven. They go, well, how are you going to get somebody excited about insurance? I understand that. It has to be presented right that we're helping people and protecting their assets. And if that matters to you, you won't need as much motivation. Now, you may not be able to do a $2,000 fun night. You might be able to do a $500 one. But make coming to work fun. Listen to your employees. Be sensitive to what their needs are, and you'll find out you have to do a lot less motivating.
Yeah, and you didn't mention money, so I think that's interesting. You didn't mention
money doesn't motivate everybody.
Cash bonuses.
Yeah. My wife, the other day, she went in I have a whiteboard that takes up the whole wall of my office, and she wrote down her 7 motivators. So as her husband, I could know that and motivate her to do dishes. Actually, she does them great. I'm just kidding. Are we getting in trouble already?
You are.
This is YouTube. Nobody's
I'm
going to watch this, are they?
A few people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so find out what their motivators are, and I would disc profile everyone, DISC, and you can do a profile. You don't want everybody with the same personality on your team. You want those service people that are totally motivated to do service work, and they would be totally unmotivated to go to a networking event. So I want to have the best people for the job, but I also want to make sure that their motivations are not needed all the time, because it only lasts about 48 hours.
All right. Very good. Want to
Thank
do
you.
the next question?
That one's kind of time consuming.
Yeah.
So we might want to do that one next. Follow up.
Follow up?
Is that like stalking?
I don't think so.
You don't
Maybe
think-
a little bit.
Okay.
A little bit like that.
All right. I don't care what business you're in. You should have a follow-up system. All right. So let me give you an example of an easy one that you can go out and do today. So I'm at a networking event. I'm at a luncheon, and I meet Micah. And Micah strikes me as someone that I might want to work with in the future. He's got some great skill sets I'm looking for. He carries himself well, and I just want to impress you on my follow-up. So I'm going to ask Micah for his business card. Okay, hopefully he has one. And so the luncheon comes to the end. Micah's headed back to his office, or his loft, they seem to move into his workspace. When I get to my car, you're not back to your office yet. I'm hoping your office number is on there. If your office number is on your card, I'm going to call the office number. If your cell phone's the only number on your card, I'm going to use a phone app or an application called SlyDial, SLY dial.com. If you go to slidedial.com, what that allows you to do, it allows you to dial someone's cell phone. It never rings, and it goes straight to voicemail. I wouldn't recommend that for your spouse. They'll pick up on it in time. You'll get busted. So I go right to my car. I see you walking down the street to your car. I'm going to call your office, or I'm going to call your cell phone. It's not going to ring. It's not going to vibrate. It's going to go right to voicemail. I'm going to say something. Hey, Micah. Forgot your name for a minute. Sorry. Could you wear a name badge? Hey, Micah. Great to meet you at the Rotary lunch today. Very excited to hear what you're working on in your area of expertise. It's an area that I've been looking for a great new relationship in, and I look forward to connecting with you soon. Bam. Now, if I called his office phone, he drove back to your office. You pick up voicemail. First, there's me. I mean, nobody does that. I mean, it's immediate. Okay? Then, later on that afternoon, before I go home, I'm going to send you an email. Basically, the email mirrors exactly what I said on almost verbatim. Hey, Micah, great to meet you at Rotary today. Excited to hear about your virtual assistant company. I've been thinking about one forever, especially one that the virtual assistants speak good English. And I can't wait to find out more about your company. Hopefully we can have lunch in the next week or two as we discussed. Oh, by the way, here's my cell phone if you ever need to get a hold of me after hours.
Okay.
Now, why did I do that?
I'm not sure.
I wanted you to feel important that I gave you my after hours number. See how easy that was? Just in case, I wanted to, because I was really impressed, I want to be available. In case you ever need to get me after hours, here's my number. What I'm saying to you is I'm available. Make sense?
Do you do this with everyone?
No. There's some people you threw their card in the shredder or in the trash as you walk out. Yeah. And when they ask you for your card, you go, I don't have any. I forgot them. Those are called VDPs.
VDP.
Yep.
What does that mean?
Very draining people.
Yeah.
So I don't want them in my life. Then there's one more step. Okay, so I've called you immediately, got back to the office, checked your cell phone. Oh man, I missed Micah's call. I emailed you before close of business. And then also, depending on how well we hit it off, I may have taken a selfie of us, or I may have gotten someone else to take a picture. And if I'm really impressed, I'll do that. If not, it's just a regular. But then I'm going to mail you a handwritten card. Or if I took our picture, I'm going to send out cards. It's a great system. I could put our picture on the outside of the card, a note inside. So a simple, follow-up, but effective system. And there again, systems are designed to save you time, stress, and energy. And you want to be able to have a system. So I have a 3-touch system. So within 72 hours, you've heard from me 3 times. Phone, email, handwritten note. Just curious, you go to a lot of networking meetings and a lot of meetings. Anybody, you ever been touched 3 times in 72 hours by anybody? Would I stick out if I did that?
Absolutely.
Bam.
Absolutely.
There's your follow-up system.
So does send out cards do handwritten?
Yep. No. But they will, you can write your font. You do a handwriting font.
Okay.
They have the software that takes it and makes it yours. You can get blank cards.
Do you mind if I recommend another service?
No, absolutely. No, go ahead.
Okay, so there's a service.
I don't make any money on it.
Okay, it's Send Lift, and they do
LYFT.
LIFT. So
LIFT.
Regular spelling. Sendlift.com, and those are real handwritten cards.
Right. Aren't they about $2.50 or $3 a piece?
They're a little bit pricier, but I think they make a bigger impression. I think it's worth it.
Well, like I said, the only reason
we'll
send out cards. It's been proven, if I put your and Rebecca, his wife, if I put your picture on the outside of a card and mail to you, you'll never throw it away. Because no one can bring themselves to throw a card in the trash with their picture on it.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, so every set of cards, there's another company called Pix and Go. They do basically the same thing. They're not quite as established, so it's a special touch.
Gotcha.
But regardless, whether you do it yourself, you pay somebody to do it, I'm going to be doing 48 handwritten note cards on the plane tomorrow from people that I had a big mastermind event in Phoenix last week. All the guests that came, they're going to be shocked to get a handwritten note from me.
Absolutely.
Now my staff, wrote the addresses on the outside.
Right.
They put the return label.
Right.
But I'm writing the inside. And I think they're going to be pretty impressed when a national speaker came in and mailed them all handwritten notes. So, anyway.
So are we doing this one?
Yeah, I love that one. Go ahead.
Okay.
Why don't you read it?
So the card says, I assume this is the problem they're having: lack of resources for foster children and lack of foster parents in Kansas.
Okay. I know who wrote that. I think her name is Allie. And her job, she works for a foster parenting state organization. And there's never enough never enough parents to take the kids. So one of the things that I've already helped her in the last week is some social media postings. I think there are people that care about kids. There may be somebody sitting next to me that has thought about having kids.
Possibly.
Or maybe your wife has.
Yeah, she definitely has.
So even last night with her, I said, so let's play around with social media and come up with some great social media posts that maybe explains it, because Amber and I have talked about fostering kids, but with my travel schedule, having kids here, especially if they're older and maybe troubled, I wouldn't want Amber to have to deal with them by herself. So I was sharing with her a couple weeks ago when I met her some of our concerns, and she goes, well, there's short-term ones. I go, well, what's that? She said, well, that's where you keep them for less than 2 weeks. They're taken out of the home today, maybe gone 3, 4, 5 days until we can find someone to replace them. I go, oh, I didn't know that was an option. I said, that still might be too much. She said, we've got another program. I said, what's that? She said, we have a program where the foster parents want to go out of town for a weekend. It's like 2 nights or 1 night off.
Right.
Ah.
Very cool.
But see, I had misconceptions.
Right.
Kids living in crack houses that got taken away would come in, obviously with behavioral problems, which would be okay because we don't have kids other than our dog. So it's not like they'd be affecting our kids. So
right.
But it was just a time thing where if we're going to foster a parent, I wanted us to do it together.
Right.
So I love having fun on social media. So I would put on there and say, would anybody like a cheap form of birth control? Have a foster kid overnight. That may be permanent, Or are you wanting to be a parent, but you'd like to try out to see what kind of parent you made first? It's like test parenting.
Interesting.
Why not get a newborn or elementary school child or teenager? No, not unless you're like me and can handle it. But would that be cool for you and Rebecca, perhaps, to get a newborn for a week?
We'd never give it up.
Okay, that's what Amber said.
Yeah,
that's what Amber said.
That might be good, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it certainly would show you what getting up to feed a baby at 2 o'clock in the morning was like.
Absolutely.
And how many people might feel better about parenting, or say it ain't for us.
Right.
So I would go on that play. I think too that I'm a person of faith, very imperfect for the record. Okay, but I think people of faith care about kids. I'm not saying more than don't write me. Write Micah Horner at. What I'm saying is I think that generosity surely permeates true believers of any faith, Jewish, Muslim, I don't care what you are. And so you have to be in front of the right people if you have trouble finding parents. So I would certainly use social media to my advantage to play off of it. Hey, do you want to do some test parenting before you decide to pull the trigger?
Right.
What do you think about that?
Well, it's good because you're probing with a question that is implying something they may not have thought was a possibility before.
Yeah, maybe 1 night,
right.
2 nights. I mean, if you and Rebecca are have a newborn, you're getting up at every night, 2 o'clock in the morning, and you let the foster care service know we could use a night off.
Right.
Amber and I could do that for a night.
Very
but
cool.
we were thinking permanent.
Right.
So I think a lot of times, especially when you're a nonprofit like this, you're not very clear on all the options. People want options. I want options. Mm-hmm. I get asked, we're working on a big nationwide contract with a company that we're meeting with next week, and I said, I'm going to have 3 or 4 options for you. We've got a low-end option, and an option where I help them dominate the world in their space. And hopefully they want to dominate so we can go option number 4. But we want options. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That help?
Yeah. I think we're probably done for episode 1. Unless you want to keep going.
Episode 1.
Episode
Click!
1 wrapped up. All
That's
right.
a wrap.
So make sure you go to timothyaChin.com.
That's my
your
website. That's
You can
one
sign
N.
up.
CHIN. I mean, I may have a double chin, but it's one N. CHIN, like chin on your face. TimothyAtChin.com.
That's where you can sign up for updates whenever we release a new episode. You can also subscribe on YouTube directly. And I think we'll wrap it up for this one.
If you want to send a question, AskTimChin.com.
AskTimChin.com.
Until episode 2, we'll see you soon.